Welcome back to the channel. It is the after hours. So we saw it again. AMD just reported strong earnings yesterday, and the stock sold off hard in after hours. I'm going to jump over and just show you what it's doing right now. And you can see down just about 2% in the day. But look what's happening in the pre-market right now, down $19, about 8%. The stock is down, not performing well. And if we look at what's happening over here, I'll jump over. You can see what we're seeing in the European market. So AMD's Frankfurt listed shares fall after weaker sales. They have fallen 6% in early Frankfurt trading on Wednesday after the company forecasted a slight decline in quarterly revenue. So guys, is that a precursor for what we're going to see here in the US when the stock market and the opening bell opens earlier this morning on Wednesday? Will AMD's stocks plunge or will it come back overall? So I just want to jump back and just talk about what we saw today. So AMD, first of all, they beat earnings, they beat revenue, data center revenue grew, margins improved. On paper, this was a solid quarter for AMD. But we know, and I've talked about in other videos, that stocks don't trade on the past anymore. They trade on what's next. And that's where the problem started from AMD. The guidance that didn't show the acceleration that market was looking for, that investors are looking for. AMD's guidance came in above Wall Street estimates, but the market still wanted faster growth. The price that AMD is trading at today was built in. The growth was built in already, so we were expecting more. Not steady growth, they wanted faster growth. And made it even worse is that management guided that their Q1 sales looked to have a decline. There, I think it was about a 5% decline built in. And in this AI-driven market, anything that looks like a pause is treated as a major red flag. So overall, the expectations were built into the stock. As I said, AMD is no longer valued like a traditional CPU company. It is currently valued like an AI contender. And that means that investors want clear AI revenue expectations, stronger commentary on the MI300 demand, and evidence that AMD is closing the gap with Nvidia. Instead, the message today from the management team at AMD was very cautious. It focused on gradual ramps and customer adoption. In this market, measured earnings and measured guidance means disappointment. Other thing we saw right after the earnings was some immediate profit taking from investors at AMD, and which pushed the stock even further down to the close of the bell and is pushing it. I think the further bearish push that we see it in the after hours and the pre-hours up leading into the market. So we have to ask ourselves, how is this going to help their major competitor, Nvidia? Actually, it strengthens Nvidia's case. Nvidia is down right now in the pre-market as well, but I would expect Nvidia will come out strong tomorrow just because it has cemented them. The earnings today from AMD has cemented them as the clear winner right now. AMD falling isn't bad for Nvidia. It actually strengthens their position for a few reasons. One, I would say that AMD's guidance told the market that the AI demand is real, but their ramp is gradual. They talked about customer qualification times, multi-quarter adoption timelines, AI revenue building over time. This suggests that AMD is still in a prove-it phase. Nvidia, meanwhile, is already operating at full demand intensity. Nvidia owns inference, not just training. AMD's AI, their AI story still leans heavily on training workloads. But the real money, as we know, is in inference, running AI models in production. Nvidia dominates inference because CUDA is deeply embedded. Software stacks are already optimized, and enterprises do not want to retool live systems. AMD has to prove it can displace Nvidia in production environments, and that gap showed up clearly in their guidance tone today. And then the last piece is just that AMD's margins are improving, but the AI ramps are still expensive. Nvidia turns AI demand directly into massive margins, explosive free cash flows, and immediate earnings leverage. In this market, investors just don't want AI exposure we all know they're looking for AI monetization at this point, and Nvidia is proving it. And AMD still has a lot to catch up to Nvidia. So overall, Nvidia didn't have a fall today because earnings were weak. Nvidia fell because expectations are extreme. They are being considered an AI contender now. Guidance didn't show the acceleration that we are looking for, investors are looking for in the market, and Nvidia is still the standard. This is a market that's looking forward, and we know is very impatient, that we said. So AMD's guidance reminded investors of one thing today. In AI, leadership matters, and Nvidia still owns the leadership. Let me know what you guys think. Is that your read on AMD's earnings and why they're falling in the after hours and the pre-market hours? What do you think Nvidia will do tomorrow? And let's keep our fingers crossed. Let's see Google have a strong earnings and make sure their management team is putting forward the confident tone that the market wants to see, so we can get this NASDAQ moving and make sure we don't have a dip in the market again like we saw today. So hope you guys have a great day. See you on the next video.